Hi, it's time again to watch TV with Jeffy. Today we're watching the Felix cat cartoon. Silent cartoon, copyright 1923. You say it says Pat Sullivan, but he ain't the guy. He may have come up with the idea for Felix, but it was really in passing. The young animator that worked for him, named Otto Mesmer, actually created Felix cat for Pat Sullivan back in 1919. Sunday would have been Otto Mesmer's 117th birthday. Will be what would have been. You follow? August 16th, Otto Mesmer's 117th birthday. Came up with this character in these basic solid shapes here: circles, squares, rectangles, because it was easier and quicker to animate, and that was what Sullivan needed. Pat Sullivan had the copyright on Felix the cat, and no one knew about Otto Mesmer until the 50s, when that really bad TV version of Felix that most of you remember, Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat, was being animated by a guy who was, back in these days, Joe Orliolo, I believe he's pronounced, was Otto Mesmer's assistant, and he squealed like a pig, told the world that Otto Mesmer was the true father of Felix cat. You'll see elsewhere on this blog how big and how popular Felix was. Felix was the big main character that Mickey Mouse finally toppled when he came along. Felix was the go-to guy. Tell by the length of this cartoon too, this is an 8-minute cartoon, and in this period, late teens, early 20s, cartoons were really shorter, about 5 minutes long at the most, because that's what an audience would sit through. But they loved Felix so much. Look at the newfangled gum vending machine. Clamored for Felix, and were willing to sit through, watch him go. This was a big thing, just a cycle of animation over watching Felix chew gum, and entertainment was different. Look at these really sparse backgrounds. This is in the days with all black and white and poor projection and stuff, and these are really, really sparse backgrounds. But you get everything you get. You get the size of the town. You get everything you need that Mesmer needs. See what Felix has done there? Gum on the floor, on the street. People get their shoes stuck. The plot of this is Felix, his owner, is a ham actor who wants to go to Hollywood. Can't afford to go. So Felix brainstorms. Felix didn't need no bag of tricks in these days. Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. No. Felix magic came out of his spunky go-to-it personality and his magic tail, which you'll see him yanking his own tail off and making things out of. And it wasn't magic because it was magic and Harry Potter and crap. It was magic because he was a cartoon. This is raw cartoon here. Anyway, he keeps the shoe man in business, goes back there, tells the snot-hole ham actor, now look, you can afford to go to Hollywood. Let's go be in the movies. Look, Felix is all happy. And the ham actor says, you ain't going, you weasel. The reason I'm really showing this is it gets into a real reflection of Felix's popularity in the movies. Here we'll start having caricatures of famous folks from the movies. A real odd one is you'll see a movie studio executive here with big ears and funky teeth, who is actually Will Hayes, who in the 30s came to prominence as the head of the Hayes office, the big censorship board of the movies a lot of you have heard of. He was big back here in the early 20s because he was an attorney that worked for when Fatty Arbuckle, silent film comedian, got in trouble. Hayes kind of let people know there'd be no more misbehaving here in Hollywood. So here they are in Los Angeles. Did you see Felix do his trick with his tail? That was pretty cool. There's what we see. Look how sparse this is, but you got all the details you need. You got, look, you're on the West Coast here. Hollywood at last, now for a job in the movies. And Felix, see, he's still kind of a cat. He moves like a cat on all fours. And Static Studios, the motion pictures, Static Studio. Felix is kind of a horn dog. You'll see here in seconds he sneaks up to the dressing room. Come on, look through the key. You know you want to. Get it? Yeah. And there's the lovely and talented Miss Gloria Swanson there, the first of our Hollywood caricatures. It's tapped on by the silent film comedian Ben Turpin with a wacky cross eye. It didn't take as much. Actually, no, I was going to say it didn't take as much for talent back then, but really, that's probably more talent than you see in any American Idol contestant. He can cross his eyes, make a funny face. And, not sure who this guy is, but he ain't happy. I'm really not sure who that guy is, but he's going to send him over here to Will Hayes, who that's probably Otto Mesmer's little inside joke, the boss. Even though he didn't have a tunnel with a studio, he was the boss of Hollywood, saying who could get into Hollywood without any monkey shines. Picture watching this in a house full of 80 or 100 other people. Every eye locked on the screen. As I said, in the rest of the blog you see a lot of other indications of how popular Felix was, and this is just a big deal. Felix was actually modeled after a cartoon version of Charlie Chaplin that Mesmer had done for Pat Sullivan a couple years before that. And so here's Felix imitating Charlie Chaplin, whom he really got all his moves from. And off he goes. Oh gosh, there's the real Charlie Chaplin. The real cartoon Charlie Chaplin. And pretty sure Charlie would have liked that. Off he goes. He's out of there. He's been booted out of there. So far the only guy that likes him in this movie is the guy at the shoe store. Help! Help! And here we see Douglas Fairbanks being attacked by the three Mosquitoes. Not Musketeers, Mosquitoes. Later in the 30s there was a cowboy trio called the Three Mosquitoes. And there's William S. Hart, famous silent film cowboy. I showed you this so I can point these people out to you because I'm sure that you don't know who they are. And, oh man, he's almost out of blood. He's gonna die, that guy. And Felix takes care of him. What a crack shot, hitting them skeeters. Felix the cat. That show from the 50s really bad. Movie from the 80s, 90s, really bad. Comic strip from the 90s, bad. This is really good stuff, and it's pretty fluid animation. 1923, and there's Cecil B. DeMille. Pretty darn nice stuff. Really clean lines. Really nice cartooning there. And he's got himself a fat Hollywood contract. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. You'll laugh so hard, your sides will ache, your heart will go pitter-pat, watching Felix, the wonderful cat. Watch the real Felix, though. Silent cartoons are cool. Even more silent when I'm not yammering through them. The end.